The Danish deception and the white boy problem. Let's talk about it. What is it about whiteness that is so prized? Why do certain people of color want this proximity above all else? Why do interracial relationships garner such acclaim on social media, right? Like, why does the pairing of a black woman and a white man mean so many views and so many likes and so many followers on this app? And the Danish deception has taken the internet by storm, and Onika has gotten a lot of flack for it. Among all of the factors, what I find most interesting is the interracial element and how self-satisfied Onika seems, in spite of the fact that she was totally swindled. Sure, Onika lost a shit ton of money, but for a brief period of time, she had her own Prince Harry. So is this preoccupation that women of color sometimes have with attaining the status symbol of being like engaged to or married to or just dating a white guy? In some ways, for certain people, whiteness is seen as like the pinnacle of romance and love. If you're able to claim a white person as your partner, then you've achieved something. There are millions of examples, but
I'm sure everyone has heard about the Danish deception story. That is what this Nigerian lady named Onika named her story. Onika took it to TikTok to basically expose her ex-husband that divorced her. Like, he filed for divorce like 3 days before she came online.
For you. And just to be very clear, I do not give a buck if you tell everybody everything. So here I am telling everybody everything. So it's because the fact that he had told me that he doesn't care if I tell everybody everything means that he must really be done with his marriage.
These two were a couple's channel. They were a swirling channel. And Onika basically exposed the fact that he took $200,000 from her and her family. Her whole family got scammed.
Let me give you the full summarized version of this girl's crazy Danish deception series, because not everybody has time to watch 30 TikToks. The creator's name is Onika, and you might recognize her from Colton's season of The Bachelor. She's on a girls trip in Croatia, and she meets a guy at a bar who is super charming, charismatic, offers to buy her a drink. This guy has like the most elite resume that you could ever imagine. He is an Olympic handball player, a real estate investor. He's into crypto. He describes him as a walking Calvin Klein model. And at first she thinks this is just a casual one-time meeting, but once she gets back to Texas, this guy still keeps hitting her up and inviting her to all of these fancy, lavish places. And he ends up flying her out to Monaco, putting her up in a $2,000 a night hotel, offering to buy her expensive gifts. Things end up moving very fast between these two, and within 2 months, they end up married, okay? Red flag number one. After these two get married, the mask really starts to fall. He starts having all sorts of bank issues. He starts asking her for money, saying that the IRS is holding up his money. Little by little, she realizes that one, not only is she paying for everything, but number two, he has been allegedly borrowing money from her close friends and family, including her little sister. When visiting him in Denmark and talking to some of his friends and family there, she learns very quickly that he has a severe gambling addiction and that he is in debt hundreds of thousands of dollars to some people. So basically, this girl married her own version of the Tinder swindler. Now, her series does go into more depth and detail about exactly what happened, but this is just crazy to me.
Everybody is very shy to say the quiet part out loud. I am going to focus in on this specific story. So I know that lately everyone just loves to do whataboutisms in all of my videos. You know, of course, there's other stories that we can talk about. But for this video, we're going to focus on Onika, and we're going to say the silent part out loud as to why a crazy story like this was able to happen. Now, I know the naive people are getting ready to type that it's not real. I actually can't stand when people do that, because people even do that to me when I share my stories. I mean, if you're naive, if you think that crazy things can't happen in this world, then fine. But when people come out with a crazy story, no, I absolutely believe that it's real. We see the way Black women have been desperate for a white man. Where did you think it was going to lead you? I've been warning people about this on my channel. White men are going to see the way you guys will be in the comments talking about, do you like chocolate? Do you like dark-skinned girls? In the way you guys are pedestalizing them and worshiping them. And where do you think that that's going to lead you? That's going to make them want to take advantage of Black women. And so that is the package deal that Onika attracted. So basically, long story short, this white man pretty much showed up in her life and in her family's life, and he lied about everything. He lied about his finances. He lied about his wealth. He basically is a broke bum. Okay, he's a broke bum. And with interracial dating, sometimes you have to question why they're dating out. There's quality and beauty in every single racial group. The type of man that he is, it would have never flied with white people. White people do not play about their generational wealth. It's the Black community that accepts scraps, but we're not going to talk about the Black community. We are going to talk about specifically Nigerian Americans and why this man was able to scam her whole entire family. Okay, so I remember when I was a little girl, Black Americans, we love unity. We try to embrace Africans that came out here, right? The Africans were coming out here looking down on us, being divisive. Their parents were telling them, hey, don't hang out with those ghetto Black American kids. Hang out with the white people. So it's pretty much known at this point that Africans glorify whiteness. They want proximity to whiteness, and they want nothing to do with Black American people, okay?
Nigerians are some of the most racist people, in my opinion, towards Black Americans in this country. They don't appreciate us.
Think about this. Nigerians are racist towards people in Africa, too. Yeah. They literally think they're the best country.
So they came out here with all this divisive stuff. And I'm actually so happy that the fact that she's Nigerian is getting highlighted, because for so long, these women will start YouTube channels, these Caribbeans and Africans, they'll do these YouTube channels and like cosplay as Black Americans and then critique Black Americans all day, but then they wouldn't critique their own community and clock their own issues in their own community, or even talk about the reasons why they came running to America in the first place. So I'm going to talk about it, right? I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to be the one to be the daredevil and talk about it, because you know what? Everyone gets to blend in as a Black American and talk about us all day. So now it's time to talk about their issues. Globally, from what I notice, and even statistically, Nigerians are statistically some of the most insecure people on the planet Earth. If you look at bleaching statistics, bleaching products sell so well in Nigeria. The statistics of how many people bleach in Nigeria, like skin bleach, is actually disgusting and disturbing. The last time I checked, the percentage was like 80. So almost 80%, that's almost everybody in Nigeria bleaches their skin. And Nigerians are some of the most insecure people because they phenotypically have the most stereotypical Black look that they're so desperately always trying to run away from. Hence why they come to America and look down on Black Americans. So yeah, you know, Black China even got in trouble because she knew, Black China, when she was trying to sell bleaching products, she knew she couldn't do that in Black American communities because we don't bleach our skin. I actually have never met a Black American person that bleached their skin. That is not something that is common amongst us. We will look at you like you are crazy and have lost your mind and need to go to a psych ward if you tell any Black American that you are bleaching your skin. That is not normal. We may have our insecurities, but we don't take it that far. There are some dark-skinned girls that will complain all day about being dark-skinned, but they're not going to go as far as to bleaching their skin. No, that is something that mostly Africans and certain Caribbeans do. That's popular in you guys' culture. So you guys take self-hate to another level and another extreme, while you guys are always talking about Black Americans. Talk about your own issues, okay? Clock that T. Also, you know, there's certain Nigerian YouTubers, and at this point, this is just all Black people across the board. We know those dark-skinned girls that will do anything but call themselves dark-skinned. I'm caramel. No, I'm not dark-skinned. I'm brown-skinned. And no, I'm not like... Okay, whatever, right? Let's just move past that. So by 2025, you know, because this whole insecurity thing amongst Africans, this whole... oh, they're so much better than us Black people, they don't want nothing to do with us. This has been going on since my entire life. So by now, I'm pretty sure the whites have caught on to Nigerians' attitude towards not wanting to be Black and wanting to be everything but Black, and they want to be white. Okay, they've caught on. They can smell it from a mile away. They see the channels. They hear the way you guys will purposely, you know, just kind of like pander to them and throw Black Americans under the bus to get closer to them in the media. So now Nigerians have created this reputation that they are desperate for proximity to whiteness. Okay. It's just the truth. It's what you guys have came to America, and it's the stereotype that you guys have created. So that is why this white man that got rejected by his own community, because his own community is not accepting some broke scamming bum, but you know who will? A Nigerian community like Onika's, who is so desperate to accept any white man to the point where they're so blinded by the skin color white that they're not willing to fact check anything. This man showed up and said he won Olympic medals and nobody did research. This man showed up and said that he was a prince and his family was royalty and no one did any research. Okay, because that's how desperate, that's the level of desperation that a lot of Africans have towards white people. Now, I understand Black Americans can act this way too, but it's not on that level. For the most part, in most Black American homes, especially in the South, if you bring a white man home, they're going to look at you like you're crazy and talk about you behind your back. But every other community, Indian, Asian, especially Asian women, oh my God, they have a horrible stereotype when it comes to desperately wanting proximity to whiteness, right? Africans, all of these other communities, right? The white man knows he doesn't have to do anything. He just has to show up. You guys are so blinded by whiteness. All he has to do is show up, and that's good enough for you guys, okay? That's good enough for you guys. Black Americans have to work 3, 5, 10 million times harder, and it's still not enough. But a white man knows that he can pop up into these communities, do the bare minimum, and you guys will be like, hey, welcome in. Because you're desperate. From my dating experience, I know a lot of Black women complain about Black men, but if you actually compare it, at least from what I notice, Black men do regular men stuff at worst, right? Like at worst, you're going to get a little bit of cheating out of them. But from what I noticed from the way white men move, and I've heard another woman say the same thing, a lot of white men move very cold, very callous, kind of evil. And I think that they can do this because look at how many people glorify the white man. The white man is one of the most glorified men on the planet Earth by every single community for the most part. So only in his community does he need to have more to the table other than being white, or they're going to reject him, right? He'll get rejected. If you're not adding or contributing to the white generational wealth, those white people are going to reject your white self, right? But he knows when he gets rejected as a broke scamming bum, every other community is going to desperately accept him, especially Nigerian Americans, especially Asian Americans, okay? Especially Indian Americans, okay? We're going to talk about the elephant in the room, the silent part out loud. We're not going to do whataboutisms. We're going to focus on this specific story today. The way everybody loves to focus on Black Americans all day and zero in on us. No, we're not going to point fingers at every other, but what about this person? But no. We're going to return the energy and focus specifically on these Nigerian Americans, and we're going to call out the fact that they got what they've been putting out. They got what they've been putting out, okay? That white man knew that he could specifically scam that entire family. Do you know how much audacity it takes to scam an entire family? He knew the whole family was just blinded by whiteness. He knew. You guys have to understand that evil people are not just wearing blindfolds and just picking whoever. No, they're very strategic. They can smell your desperation and your insecurities from a mile away. That white man seen the way Onika had 0 Black friends. It is no excuse, and this is coming from a girl that lived in non-Black environments, okay? Even when I lived in non-Black environments, I still was finding, it was almost like maybe like the 10 black people in the entire school, we still linked up. We still found our people. And, you know, I've always had black friends. Even when I wasn't in black environments, I always had black friends. It is no excuse for anyone to be going through life at their big age with 0 black friends. Every picture that Onika had, it was all white woman blonde hair, white woman blonde hair, white woman blonde hair. You guys do not understand how crazy that looks. We're not going to normalize that. We're just not. I don't care if you grew up around white people. There's no city with 100% white people. You having only white friends is strategic, and you're doing that on purpose because, again, your Nigerian parents probably told you to stay away from anything to do with black people. And it's just very obvious that that's the dynamic going on in her home. It's just very obvious.
No one, and I mean no one, does anti-blackness better than a black immigrant or like a black person from the Caribbean or a black person from Africa or wherever else in the world that doesn't like African Americans. No one. And it's not even funny anymore. I'm legit concerned because they be the greatest coons. And it's crazy because the way they talk about African Americans, you think African Americans are the furthest demographic from them, right? Put a black immigrant that can't stand African Americans on the phone and you'll be talking to a nationalist.
She's been seen on several reality TV shows chasing after a white man. She's a white man chaser. And you got what you wanted. He's seen the way you had no black friends. He's seen the way you were so desperate on every white reality TV show like The Bachelor, yearning for a white man. He knew you were an easy target. Not to mention, Onika kind of gives slow vibes a little bit too. So that's another thing that I wanted to talk about. People will use her and go, see, skinny women who are pretty can get scammed too. Yes, if you give slow, yes, you're going to attract scammers. If you give clinically slow, you're going to attract scammers. And then when you look at Onika on the reality TV shows and just how she's dancing and just the way she talks, it gives slow. It gives the screws don't work. So, yeah, if all the screws are not connecting in your head, you can absolutely fall target to scams. Like, duh. So, you know, on my channel, we talk a lot about how fat women attract scammers. It's not just them. If a pretty woman, I need you guys to understand, when you are pretty, the last thing a man will ever do is ask you for money. That has quite literally never happened to me. I've watched men, I've literally, you know, I'm not perfect. I've literally had it to where broke homeless men were tricking off on me in the past. Okay? When you're pretty, men will do everything but ask you for money. So when you see a pretty girl getting scammed, understand that is not the norm. That is not normal. And she's getting scammed because it could be many factors. She probably is very grandiose with her money, like Onika. Oh my God, I have $10,000. Bro, normal people do not just have $200,000 to give. You know, so already, even from us viewers watching her story, she gives rich vibes.
Why are people surprised that Onika, who is a successful, highly achieving woman, was victimized by this Danish deception? Because actually, we're the most vulnerable group. I just watched a video of a guy who's gone onto Onika's LinkedIn and is going through her qualifications, going through her roles, going through her experiences. You know, she's into real estate. She's into IT. She's worked for one of the big four. She's incredibly highly achieving. And he's like, how has this woman let this man deceive her in this way? Highly achieving, highly educated women, and we'll even talk about her being a black woman later on, maybe in a different episode. But highly achieving women are targets for these type of deceptive men, because these men know that highly achieving women are not often approached and not often loved in the way they want to be loved, which makes them perfect targets for them. So this shock about her being a highly educated, high achieving woman should not be there. And if anything, it's a lesson for us highly achieving, highly educated women that we have a target on our backs. Look at Risa Tisa, same thing. She was minding her business, achieving, doing her thing. And the guy, I can't remember this man's name, but the guy targeted her, found her.
It's a reason why rich people gatekeep. It's a reason why rich people cosplay as broke. It's a reason why a lot of rich people wear normal clothes. Because the minute you tell people you have money, you're going to attract scammers. So that's the first sign that she's kind of slow. You just met this man and you're already letting him know that you are freaking wealthy as hell. Okay? Do you know what world that we're living in? Most of the world statistically is poor.
So you're telling me your ex-husband scammed you out of $50,000 and then scammed your sister, your friends, your coworkers, and your parents? Not only did he scam y'all for thousands of dollars, but he also got a green card.
Statistically, it's only about 1% of people that have the type of money that Onika has. And you are just talking about it like it's normal. It's normal in your little community. But to the rest of the world, to that Danish man, he's looking at you like a jackpot. So that's how I know all the screws don't go. And if you're a beautiful woman acting like this, you can absolutely attract scammers. Okay? But we're not going to act like, but beautiful women who act normal do not attract these types of scenarios. Okay? So we're not going to do that. We are not going to, because you guys did that with the Tinder swindler. Every time somebody talks about a fat woman getting scammed, here goes people, oh, but look at the Tinder swindler. And it was, you know what I mean? There are a lot of men so that leads me into my next point. There's a type of scamming where men see the way some women are desperate gold diggers, right? They want the rich white man. And there are men that will scam those types of women in that way that are like extremely desperate for a rich white man. Some women, all they require out of a man is like shallow stuff, sprinkling a little bit of money on her, and now her legs are wide open and she's all in and her heart is all in. Women do not understand that you only requiring money out of a man is actually a very easy requirement. What's a hard requirement would be requiring character, other traits in the man. Okay, so a lot of scammers, they love gold diggers where it's like all you require out of him is to be white or is to, sprinkle a little bit of money on you, because to them, that's easy. That's easy work. All I got to do is just sprinkle money and her heart is all in. Bet. So, he did the getcha gotcha. That's another scamming tactic they do with gold diggers like Onika or the Tinder swindler situation. They'll spend money on you first. And then that's only because they know that money reels you in, right? She's trying so hard to not come off as a gold digger to this man. To me, that's kind of a projection when you're doing that, because if you're not a gold digger, the thought of gold digging it's not going to be on your mind. You're just going to live your life. But she's so busy. I'm not a gold digger. I'm not a gold digger. It's because you are. All you want is a white man to have you living the soft life and stuff like that. So he gave that to you for a little bit. And then just like with every other divester that I know in real life, the white man switches up and you see why he's got rejected out of his community and is running to yours. He's poor. There are so many divestors in real life that I know that has the same story as Onika. That's why I know Onika's story is real. I know a divester right now. She's in her 40s and she's overweight. And basically the same thing happened to her. White man showed up in her life and he was doing okay at first. And then I told you guys, he faked a leg injury and then stopped working for 5 years as she paid all of the bills. And, basically that dynamic is very common. Okay. So this is all that rejecting your own community, not wanting anything to do with your own community and worshiping whiteness. This is all it's going to get you. It's going to get you the scraps. It's going to get you, because you're so desperate for whiteness, you're going to attract the scammers of the white people. You're not going to get quality white people. You know why? Because most quality white people are with their own group. Okay, they're with their own group. They have no reason to run away and run towards you. Yes, some people may have their type. That's another conversation. But in this video, because you guys love to go off topic, we are specifically talking about this specific situation. Okay, because you guys love, when I'm telling too much of the truth, you love to get into the comment section and, oh, but what about this, and but what about Black Americans and Black Americans? No. She's Nigerian, so we're going to focus on Nigerian issues in this video. Okay, when everybody critiques Black Americans, we never are in the comment section, oh, but what about Nigerians? Nope, we just take it to the chin and we nod our head. So take it to the chin and nod your head. You know, I noticed that when I talk about other communities, they get so sensitive, right? And it's like, no, you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. No community is perfect. I've pretty much critiqued every single community on my channel, my own community, white people, and now it's your turn. But for whatever reason, I can see it. And I might leave the comments up. They're going to be upset. Every time you talk about Africans or Caribbeans, they get so upset because they kind of act like narcissists, right? Narcissists, who they hate criticism, but they love to talk about all day what you're doing to distract you from what they have going on. Okay, so I'm not calling you guys a narcissist. I'm not being extreme in saying that, but it kind of mimics the way narcissists act. I noticed that they love to sit on their throne, look down on Black Americans, but then they have a hard time when we're calling out their issues. Black Americans, we have our own issues, but I'm going to say this one more time. The white worshiping is way more extreme. The self-hate is way more extreme in Caribbean and African households. And that's just a fact. That is just a fact. When I was growing up, I've never met a Black American that was trying to just separate themselves from Africans. You know, we Black Americans have been on this identity searching thing. So when I was growing up, we were embracing the African culture. We were calling ourselves African. And then it was the Africans that kind of didn't like that. They didn't want us to be affiliated with them. So that's where you start seeing terms like, okay, let's go back to Solani. Or instead, we just started, acting accordingly. They didn't want nothing to do with us. We've always kind of welcomed them with open arms. Yeah, we roasted them a little bit. We roast everybody. We roast ourselves. That's what we do as Black Americans. So a lot of Africans are still crying because they got called an African booty scratcher. Everybody got called that. We crack jokes as Black Americans. It's not that personal. We call you that and we still welcomed you guys with open arms. You guys were getting told that we were ghetto and wanted nothing to do with us. So this is the result. And yeah, I'm just going to say the quiet part out loud. This is absolutely the result of that. And I'm going to say this one last time. Scammers, bullies, any type of predatory people, they are very strategic. Okay? Very strategic with who they target. They don't make a mistake. They prey on weaker people. They prey on vulnerable people. They prey on insecure people. Growing up, I never got bullied because I don't have this energy of you can bully me. No, I've always had this if you bully me, you can see yourself how unhinged it's about to get. So I even noticed this in school. Even bullies would kind of target people that they perceived as weak. But when you come off as confident and strong, they leave you alone. So when it comes to predatory people like the Danish deception, the Danish guy and stuff like that, no, they know. Scammers know who to target. They don't just mindlessly target people. I have never attracted a scammer because I don't give off any type of vibes like I would give someone $200,000. I would quite literally never, ever do that. So they know exactly who to target. There are some people where they go on the dating scene and they always attract people that ask them for money. I don't have that story. So it's just something about you that is attracting this, and I'm talking about it in this video. We're going to just say it because everybody is too afraid to say it. I don't care about backlash because as a Black American, I have nothing to lose. People critique us all day long. What are you going to do? Critique us? That's what people do anyways. So another thing that's coming to my mind that shows that Onika worships white people. Why every 5 seconds are you bringing up the fact that this man is Danish?
And I look up and I see this very attractive man. And the first thing that came to my mind was, this man looks like he is walking straight out of a Calvin Klein ad. And I'm telling you guys, 6'3", blonde hair, blue eyes, chiseled skin, so tan, muscles everywhere. I was definitely taken aback, and I feel like it takes a lot for me to really double take a man just based on his looks like that. And 100%, I was a little bit just in awe.
That is a huge red flag. It's showing what you're pedestalizing in your head. Everything, you know, when she met up with him at the airport to welcome him to America, she said she made a sign that said, "Welcome, my Danish man," and she literally named it the Danish deception. Like, it's showing that whether you admit it or not, because she's denying it, but we all know what's going on. You absolutely do pedestalize whiteness. All you seen was whiteness, and you've been desperately seeking a white man for years and years and years, and you finally got what you've been looking for in a form of a scam. If you don't get real with yourself, and I said this before on my channel, if you are delusional, if you're the type of woman that thinks that you deserve a 6'7" man with $1 billion, blonde hair, blue-eyed, muscular man, and you won't let go of this delusion, eventually you're going to attract it, but you're going to attract it in a form of a scam, because that's not what you qualify for. I'm going to say the silent part out loud again. Onika is a pretty girl, but she's an average pretty girl, okay? There's nothing special about her personality. There's nothing special about her looks. When you scroll TikTok, you see badder black women all day long that look way better than her, that have more brain cells than her, that are smarter than her. So, you know, I think that I'm all that in a bag of chips, but if some freaking trillionaire showed up in my life, I'm going to question it. But if you're delusional, you're just going to roll with whatever. And that is how women end up getting scammed. And it's even worse in today's time, because on social media, every woman gets fed extremely delusional dating advice. Okay, every woman on social media is getting told, if your man is not a billionaire, he ain't ish. Drop him, girl. We should all shoot for the stars. When in reality, most women do not qualify for billionaires. Most women do not qualify for millionaires. You don't. Low-key, Kevin Samuels, low-key looking back, he kind of was telling you guys the truth. Most women are meant to just pair up with an average man because you're an average woman. And I get it, right? A lot of millionaires, they don't have like freaking supermodels on their arms a lot of the times. A lot of the times their wives look regular, so I'll cut her some slack on that. I'm not going to come down too much on her looks. But it just seems like she was chasing a fairy tale and this delusion, and she wouldn't let it go. And yeah, if you don't get real with yourself, you're going to get scammed. Okay, there is nothing wrong with getting with your average, everyday, hardworking man. Look at the statistics, okay, and get off of social media. There's only a small percentage of people on this earth that are rich. I know when you scroll social media, everyone likes to cosplay as rich, but statistically, there's not enough rich people to go around. So there are some women that will constantly chase that fairy tale and turn their nose up at like decent, good, everyday, blue collar, hardworking men because they think that they deserve 6'8", buff, white, blonde hair, blue eye billionaires. And yeah, that also contributed to why Onika got scammed. And she just gives me vibes. These whitewashed black girls, she gave me vibes like she tells her white friends that her name is like Onika. Yeah, my name is Onika. Like, just cringe, bro. Like Tila Dunn vibes. You know what I mean? Cringe. And she's not going to pronounce her name the African way. She just gives me those vibes. She gives me vibes like she'll put a sew-in in her head and tell her white friends that that's her real hair. She gave me vibes like she used to grow up and tell people that she's mixed with European and Indian and stuff like that, knowing dang well, girl, you is mixed with Nigerian and Nigerian. She gives me those types of vibes, okay? Like, ew, gross. Oh, that's another thing that I wanted to say. I think I have one last thing to say. Onika is trying to come on the internet and say that she did this to warn other women. That is complete bull crap every single time a woman does that. It's literally like textbook. Every single time a woman comes online to expose what her husband is doing to her, when you actually look at like documents, you'll see that the husband literally filed for divorce like 2 days before she came online. And it's so obvious that hadn't he left you, you would have still been with him, putting up with him. We've seen this with the trophy wife, right? The trophy wife wanted to come to the internet and say that her husband was touching her kids, and come to find out, girl, you only came to the internet because he filed for divorce, and then 2 days after, you're on the internet exposing him. So I just don't believe that people care about morals and warning people. A lot of women will turn a blind eye. They'll let a man scam their whole family, do creepy things to their whole family as long as he stays around. But the minute that man leaves, all of a sudden they're on TikTok and YouTube airing out his business. But hadn't he left, you would have still been tolerating with all the nonsense that this man was putting you and your family through. I've seen this over and over and over and over. I've seen women that will invite random men into their house. This man is literally hurting the children and everyone in the home, and she'll sit there with a smile and tolerate it for 10 plus years. But then when the minute the man leaves and files for divorce, now all of a sudden she wants to come to social media and warn everybody. No, you're just another typical hyena where there are certain women that cannot leave peacefully. Body language will always be the biggest communicator. That's why she's smiling throughout the whole entire time while telling the story. Part of her smile is due to her white male worship. Okay, she's just so happy to be attached to a white man, but this is also a petty smile, like, oh yeah, so you're gonna leave me? So you're gonna divorce me? Okay. And she's retaliating. So this is a very, that's why she's smiling. Everybody keeps saying how it's very weird, how she's smiling and happy while telling the story. That's why. They can't let a man leave peacefully. They will sit there and tolerate all types of abuse, scams, abuse, all of it, right? All of it. There's so many stories. But the minute a man leaves, now all of a sudden to ruin that man's reputation, they're crashing out on social media, exposing him, but hiding it behind, oh, I'm just warning women. You guys do not care about women. You don't even care about your family. He scammed your whole family. He didn't even scam. You were so desperate to keep a white man around, he didn't even scam you. You were like, here, white man, take my money. Please, take my money. I worship you. Please stay around. Please stay around. And you literally you treated this white man like he was an investment, right? You were investing in this white man. You wanted to keep him around. That's why you literally were begging to give him your money. And he said, okay. Is he really the villain? Okay. So what I know about people is I tell women, you got to be careful when men spend a lot of money on you, because then they act like they own you. And that's how Onika feels. That's why she's on the internet airing out his business. It's kind of like, you ever watched that movie, Acrimony, where it's the same situation where the woman had a boyfriend and she invested like $100,000 of her savings into him and in his college and stuff like that. And then when she found out that the man was cheating, she drove her car into his house and crashed it. And then later on got diagnosed for like BPD. That's kind of like what Onika is doing. When women come online to talk about their husband, they're crashing out. That's what they're doing. It's another form of bleaching his clothes. It's another form of breaking his Xbox. They're trying to ruin his reputation. That's what they're doing. And this is why you don't meet people and just give them your life savings, because when that person inevitably disappoints you, whether they leave or they cheat or they do something, you're going to crash out and end up in jail. Okay? So, I noticed with my exes, I always kind of leave their life on a peaceful note, because women who like bleach clothes and slash tires, they're doing that because they did way too much for the wrong man and now they feel played. It's like What? I need to ruin your life. I need to damage your car. I need to damage your reputation. I need to make sure no other women are going to talk to you. So, another thing that they will do is these women love to come to other women as a woman and like warn the women in his life. They're not doing that because they genuinely care about you. No. A lot of the times these women have invested so much into these men. They're only warning you so that you can get away from him so she can have that man all to himself. So Onika is online talking about, well, I'm just warning women. No, you're not. You're so full of crap. You're so not genuine. You're only online because 2 days before he filed for divorce and left you. There are some women that cannot peacefully leave a man's life because they put up with so much stuff. These are the types of women that will literally end up in jail trying to get back at this man. So she's full of crap. She's a clout chaser. I don't trust anyone that comes to social media trying to expose their business. Like, this is humiliating. This information she told us is humiliating. It's embarrassing. Do you know how mentally ill you have to be to embarrass yourself like this? But clout is a drug. Fame is a drug. This girl has been chasing fame for 10 plus years on every freaking reality TV show that has anything to do with sniffing a white man's butt, okay? You've been chasing fame and the white man for years, and you coming to social media exposing him is another one of your methods of chasing fame. You just won't stop. There are some people who are clout junkies. They're like addicts for clout. Such a copycat, trying to copy Risa Tisa. You're so unoriginal. It's just so obvious that this is not really, you're not operating from an authentic place. It's so obvious that you're operating out of revengeance. And it's not because he took money from you. You gave him that money. You're operating out of revengeance because he left you. It's called a smear campaign. When you leave a narcissist, when you cause any type of injury, right? Any type of wound. Narcissists have an ego problem. So anything that hurts their ego, whether it's you're leaving them, like, how dare you leave me? I'm all that in a bag of chips. How dare you leave me? They get very vengeful. It's called a narcissistic injury, and a lot of the times a smear campaign will start after. And it's in little ways. They'll come to social media, and to you it looks all innocent and sweet. But no, their agenda is to destroy the person that hurt their ego by leaving, is to destroy their reputation. Okay? Trust me, as a YouTuber, I am no stranger to this. The person would love my channel, all up on my channel, supporting every last talking point. And then when I decide to block them out of my life, now all of a sudden they don't agree with anything that I've ever said. Like, be so freaking for real. Like, so this is what women will do. Alrighty, swirling disaster story. These are my blunt, brutally honest thoughts. It's my unapologetic thoughts. I said what I said. Who wants to tussle? Bye, Bookies. I'm going to go ahead to the gym and edit this video, and I will see you guys in the next video, and I will continue to clock tea. So if you find my channel interesting, go ahead and subscribe, Bookie. Go ahead and subscribe. You're going to always be entertained because I am messy and I am blunt and I am brutally honest. And I know YouTube is boring. Everyone's too scared to say their thoughts, but I'm not. So, all right, guys. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Stop worshiping white people, and bye.